Well, Matt, not lose your source for all things Everton. I just bounced in a minute to talk about Everton's crushing defeat yesterday to Aston Villa. 2 games in a row where obviously we've been 2-0 up and we've conspired to somehow lose the game. Obviously, it's a very different kind of feeling to the week before, or the game before, I should say, because obviously that was at home. That was a much later comeback. Whereas this one was away from home, would have been a brilliant result for it. Obviously, both would have been good results as well, but going away to a team who were in the Champions League and winning 2-0 to Everton don't do. So that would have been an even better result yesterday. And then obviously there's some similarities, some differences. But the bottom line is it's just not good enough, and obviously everyone needs to take a big portion of blame, whether it be the coach and the staff and the players, and just everyone needs to look at themselves and say, how on earth would they possibly let this happen again? I say very different kind of game, and I think in terms of, you know, if we won the other weekend at Bournemouth and then this has happened, people would still be annoyed, people would still be upset, people would still say it's not good enough, etc. Of course, totally agree, but you'd have a portion of you saying, well, at the end of the day, Villa are a good team, they can do that to teams much better than us have gone to Villa Park and gotten beat over the last couple of seasons. So you'd have a bit more kind of sympathy towards. When it happens twice, it's barbaric. It's really, really, really poor. And as I say, everyone's got to kind of take blame for it. Start the game okay. Obviously, Villa were coming at us. We were defending, I thought, fairly well. And then we win the ball off Onana, very weak from him. Something that you didn't see too often, I didn't think, when he played for us, to be fair. Felt like he was quite strong in those sort of duels and those challenges in the middle of the park, but gets robbed. McNeil goes through, terrific finish from him. He's obviously taken a lot of stick in the week, he didn't play particularly well against Bournemouth from sort of the last 15 minutes or so, when we really needed a third goal and someone just to kind of step up and help us get it over the line. He kind of wilted a little bit, I think, like a few of the other players did. Took some stick before that because he's not had a great start of the season, but he scores a terrific goal there, puts us 1-0 up, and then Villa were, I think, almost shell-shocked a little bit, and then before you know it, another ball in from McNeil, and it's a great header by Barlow, well onside, makes it 2-0, and you're thinking, this is obviously very different to the Bournemouth game again in terms of the 2 second-half goals the other week, 2 first-half goals this, but Everton, I thought, were good value for it at the time because they defended when they needed to, and Villa hadn't looked like the team that I kind of associate with Villa at the minute. I didn't think they looked as good as they normally do. And obviously, this is the ground where we got absolutely nailed 4-0 last season. So, very, very different this time around. And obviously, for Calvert-Lewin to score 2 weeks on a bounce, obviously great for us. Good ball from McNeil, as I say. But it was pretty much from then on, it all went drastically wrong. Obviously, Mikalenko has to come off. Ashley Young goes to left back. James Garner comes on at right back, which I think is something that people have been saying all season. Want to see James Garner at right back. It's not something he doesn't play. He's not a right back. He doesn't play at right back. He played there in the under-21 Euros. Did okay there. Did look good. But senior level, I think he obviously played sort of like a bit more advanced, like a wing back for us against Bournemouth, and then I don't really think it's something he's ever done. I think he played centre-half a couple of times at youth level as well, but I don't think right-back is a position he's kind of needed to play. It's always played further up on the right, sure, but they're very different positions, and you saw from the way that he gives Luca Dean the whole of Birmingham to run onto a ball and chip into the back post. It's a difficult cross to defend, but Michael Keane's obviously got to do better. Half of the goal as well, so he's running back from his near post. Watkins is not a good start to the season, but he wanted it more. He wanted to be there more, and he wins the ball and it goes in the back of the net. Would it have been better if Jacob O'Brien was there? Probably, possibly. But he's stuck with Keane, and teams that have got Michael Keane always concede goals. And I think the thing with O'Brien is with me that I think when a manager keeps you up 2 seasons in a row, he's earned my trust in terms of I will trust and believe in the decisions he makes. I might not agree with them all, but I will always try and see logic in what he does. Like with any manager, I think, to be fair, whenever you see any manager Everton have had over the last, in this period where we've been chopping and changing and managers have been coming and going, I've always wanted to try and see logic and reason. I think with O'Brien, sounds coming out that he's looked off it in training. I think when he played against Rome, he looked rusty. Kind of see that bit there. Obviously, he played all right against Doncaster, but we were kind of on top of that game throughout all of it. Didn't play for Ireland from the start when obviously he went away. They're not a team I think he would be getting into normally if he was kind of up to speed of it. So I think there is logic behind O'Brien not playing, but obviously with Michael Keane, we know what we're going to get from him, and it's this feeling of if he doesn't make a bad mistake, which unfortunately he does do quite often when he makes a bad mistake, it's a bit like that goal there, like the goals against Bournemouth, where you just think, could he do better, rather than, it's like not a glaring error, it's just probably not quite good enough. And that's pretty much where we're for that goal. And as soon as it goes to 2-1, I mean, people were saying on Twitter yesterday, try not to go on Twitter too much, but people were saying as soon as you went 2-0 up, you knew what was going to happen. And I sat there thinking, what a result this is, what a terrific win this could be. It was when it goes to 2-1, that's when I started thinking, well, you know, that could be curtains. But it didn't need to be, because we were fine after that, I thought, in the first half. I don't think we were hanging on by any means. And then Calvert-Lewin goes through on goal, should make it 3-1. I mean, his one-touch finishing is fantastic. He's one of the best one-touch finishers we've had, I think, over the last, in my lifetime, sorry, but in terms of the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's been terrific with his one-touch finishing. When he has time, you look at the Villa game last season at Goodison, where he runs through from the halfway line, doesn't score. Christ knows what he's doing with this one. Konza gets back and somehow doesn't put it into his own net. But yeah, it should be 3-1 there. Obviously, the question whether it's offside, it looked onside to me, but obviously I think there's a case to say there that we should be winning 3-1, and that would probably have been curtains. I think you're 3-1 up, Villa, I think they're going to struggle to come back from that. We don't, then a few minutes later, goes down the other end. Harrison not tracking his run, tries to get back, dives in, puts it through to Watkins. I mean, it's the kind of goal then the Everton would concede, but again, you have to sit there and say it's just not good enough. You know, Harrison, who's a good defensive winger, gets back and works hard on that side, not getting back, throwing a leg in. It's lazy. It's, I think it shows a kind of lack of, hard to explain, but just think in terms of, I'd rather the ball go out wide and have someone crossing it in than obviously risking slicing across it and putting another striker through on goal. You'd think we could deal with the ball into the box. No, we didn't early on in the game, but that felt different in terms of it was a really good opportunity for Dean just to dink one into the far post. But yeah, not good enough. Watkins goes through it at 2-2. Again, if you weren't convinced at 2-1 that we were probably gonna struggle to see it through at 2-2, it was curtains. And then John Durant scores an unbelievable goal. I mean, certainly one of the best goals we're going to see in the Premier League this season. But yeah, I think you get what you deserve in football sometimes. I think Everton did there because they didn't make it 3-1 when they should have done. They conceded a really silly goal to make it 2-1 and 2-2. Their striker coming on, he had a really good start to the season, scoring an absolute worldie. It's fair enough, you know what I mean? I don't think you can sit there and say, oh, that would only happen to Everton. This fella scores from 35 yards out. I say you make your own luck a little bit in this game. And then a 3-2, we should make it 3-3. Calvert-Lewin misses another one-on-one, hits the bar. And that's where I sit there and say, you know, obviously everyone's blaming the manager. I get that. People don't want Keane to play. I get that. I can see some logic behind it, and I hope I can offer a bit more to that. But at the end of the day, we should score 4 goals there, and we scored 2. And when you score 2, you should still win a game, and that's where he has to take blame. But then when you score 4, sorry, you definitely should go on to win the game. We missed 2 glaring chances. You know, we probably had the 2 best chances of the game with Calvert-Lewin, and then he's not scored either of them. So it's very frustrating. I think we'll be infinitely better when Jared Branthwaite's back. You know, he's dropped Keane before for me, and he dropped Keane for Branthwaite. If he drops him for O'Brien now, even if O'Brien's not great, he gets to a point where you have to say, throw him in, give him a chance, because teams with Michael Keane in do concede goals. That's the bread and butter of it, unfortunately. Obviously, we've got a cup game in the week, and we play Leicester next week, which is another mammoth task for us, and another really tricky game. Not too sure to make of that one yet, so we'll have a look for the week and that. But yeah, we need Jared Branthwaite back ASAP. That's kind of my feelings from this game. I still trust the manager. I still think we'll be fine this season. This is crap. You know, no one likes this. No one likes feeling so happy, looking like you could win a game to go on to losing it. But that's just the way it is at the minute. And I just hope we can stick together. Hope we can pick up a couple of results coming up, and we can move forward, because we are better and we are stronger together than everyone being annoyed and trying to move the manager on again. Because I think if we did lose the manager, I'd be very apprehensive about this season, whereas now I still feel like we'll be okay. So let me know your thoughts down below. Let me see what you want to see from in the week. Southampton game, who do you want to see playing, who do you want to see moving in and out of the team, and we'll see you next time. Nice one.